Yeah, that's we tried to fit in first, and I think all credit to the subs. I thought they did that. They acquitted themselves well when they came on, and the first half performance, I thought the lads put in an excellent shift, especially up front, in set piece and around the fringes, the carries. Tiggs try, the other tries. So I think it was closing out the game by the time we got on, but happy to do it.
Well, there's not. There wasn't much thought put into it, to be honest. It just, Jack did unbelievably well. I seen the chip space and I called for the birdie for her, and Jack just put the little chip kick through and found the kick space despite the pressure that he was under. And fortunately, it set up quite nicely for me, and Lukey ran a nice line. And looking back at it, maybe I could have stuck it on the toe for Jacob to go down the wing, but Lukey was there in space, so it worked out well.
I think all the slagging of us has been. We slag him saying he's a crash ball merchant. He wanted to show a bit of flair, so it's great to do that.
Yourself and Gary, obviously linked pretty well. You come off the bench again. I guess that's hard that early in the game when the centre of the partnership changes. It seemed like you guys worked off each other.
Yeah, look, I think I've said this many times over the last couple of years that I've been involved in the system. I think despite centre being quite a competitive area, and we've had a lot of injuries there, whether they be short term and long term, but no matter who's no matter what combination goes in, we seem to connect pretty well, and I feel the same with Bundy, or whether that be in training with Robbie and across the board, the other boys are the same. I feel like no matter what combination is used, we all know each other's roles so well that we feed off each other, and we're very comfortable with no matter who's there.
You knew you became a 12 before you got down pigeonholed or 13. As a young fellow, you meant
I was a 12 pretty much growing up throughout. In Ulster I always played 12 until I went to France and I played a bit more 13 and played a little 12 whilst I've been over there as well. But I think I've said this as well, but it's as a 12 or 13 you've got to know each role, and you've got to understand what the 12 wants from you for you to be an effective 13, and likewise the 12's got to understand what the 13 wants from the 12 to do his role to the best of their ability. So it's really seamless, transfer no matter whether you're going from 13 to 12 or 12 to 13. I feel like in this group you've got to be able to do that.
Chris, can you talk us through your relationship with Joe? I believe he was in touch with you while you were in France time.
Yeah. Look, I suppose it's another one that I've spoken about so many times, but I wasn't out there that long before I was in contact with Joe, and I expressed that I wanted to stay for a few more years and get a bit more game time out there, and I did that. And throughout those 2 years that I stayed beyond, chatting to him initially, he kept in touch, and he sent me a little bit of feedback on some of the games that he'd watched in the top 14 of my games, and that kind of feedback was something that's really made me think, maybe I should come back to Ireland, and that's the level of feedback I could get here week in, week out, whether that be in the provincial system or in the international system if that was to come. But yeah, look, his supposed contact with me was part of the reason that I came back, and it highlighted what can be in the provincials here.
Before you came to you, did you kind of Ireland was gone, go to France, set your brain?
Look, I was only out of the academy in Ulster, so I was 21, and leaving the country at that age, having not really made a massive mark in the provincial game or anything, I was like, this is a shot in the dark. I'll have a crack at it. It's a good opportunity for me to play at the top stage against top internationals, but the international thing's probably gone unless things go really, really, really well, and fortunately it probably did, and things worked out quite well.
Did you believe you're good enough? Because a lot of guys, they have to be, it's not an injury or whatever. Did you believe you're good enough for 21 to get here?
Probably not. It's hard to say at 21 because I had so many injuries at the time and didn't get an awful lot of game time whilst being in Ireland. But I believe whenever I was growing up that I was good enough to become an international, because I played really young in Ulster stuff and played quite well when I did get the chance, and I did believe that I was capable of becoming international. It's just that going away part probably, I was thinking that's probably gone. And I needed to get more game time before I could make it really accurate. Could I say that I could be an international 21 having not got an awful lot of professional game time? No, probably can't, but I certainly believe I had the capability of becoming one.
Chris, can I here for like vindication for those steps in your
feel like it certainly made it all worthwhile. Like I never doubted what I was doing anyway. Whenever I was really going, I was like, this is a really good decision. It's a really good opportunity for me, and it's great that this has come. You know, it's obviously fantastic that this has come about, but yeah, I made risks. I took risks, and they paid off. So it was great.
Chris, can I ask you about Japan? Just all of this, really, the hype, the pressure they're under. This, I mean, just to see the media interest here as well. Do you think that could be something that works against them?
No, I can't see it doing anything that works against them. You know, they're home. Like even for us, it's massively exciting this weekend because we're going to play against, you know, the home nation in a massive tournament like the Rugby World Cup. It's going to be huge. You know, their support's going to be massive. The energy they're going to feed off in the crowds is going to be huge. But hopefully we can turn that on us as well, and we can feed off that. But I certainly can't see it being in any way, you know, against the Japanese team. You know, it's going to be an unbelievable event for us and them, and you know, we feel like this is just another step. You know, we had a good start at the weekend, but it was just a start, and we've got a long way to go.
And Dave, for you, like, what do you think the scrutiny you're under this week here in Japan is different to Munster press conferences?
Yeah, 100%. I suppose that's the beauty of a competition like the Rugby World Cup. You know, it's most fellas' dreams and aspirations as a young fella growing up to be playing in a competition like this, and to be playing the host nation on Saturday. It doesn't get much bigger than that, so can't wait for it.
Chris, in terms of, obviously Dave was joking about the crash ball, but do you think that
I wasn't joking.
do you feel like, obviously that's a good part of the skill set, but do you feel like boosting your skills in one of the things that's help you get to this level in terms of like adding extra dimensions to your game over the last few years?
Sorry, what was the question? Is
Obviously, you have a bit of crack there about the last 20 years crash ball, and obviously that's just a bit of banter. Do you feel like over the last few years you've improved, rounded out you get, yourself to get through?
Yeah, look, I think if anything, coming back to Ireland, I've improved mostly at the basics. You know, in France they might not put so much emphasis on the basics and those things, but coming back here you just realise how important those things are, and you can build your game up on basics, and that's one thing that I think has certainly improved, and that's huge as well, because that is what the game is about, especially in these high pressure games. You know, the basics really do come to the fore, and you've got to look after the ball, you've got to do the simple things well, and the best team tends to do all of those things well and have a few little, you know, intricacies on top of that. So if you can build the game on that, I think you become a good team.
Dave, you all did the last one, the big player after the match last season. Was that just getting into the Japanese spirit?
I'm not actually sure who called it. Was it Johnny or Bestie? But it's just paying respect to the host nation. You know, we saw the amount of Japanese fans we saw out there with Irish flags, and we weren't sure were some of them singing the fields left and right, but they were trying their best anyway. So it's just paying our respect to the Japanese. You know, they've been incredible to us. They've been so polite, so friendly, so accommodating. Where we're staying is an incredible place. They've really gone above board to make us feel welcome here, so it's just a little gesture we came up with.
Any sense of the excitement building back home in terms of people getting in touch with you after the performance on Sunday?
Yeah, I have a lot of family getting onto me, you know, cousins. I have a couple of cousins coming out actually to the next two games. My parents were watching it. Obviously, they've been on to me. I've been on to the Munster coaches. You get a sense of, I suppose, the togetherness that the country's getting behind Ireland at this competition, and it's great to hear.
Over here.
What's the impression of Japanese team overall?
What's the
Japanese team?
what's our impression? We were very impressed with the performance against Russia. We've actually toured here 2 years ago and we played against them, so we know exactly the threats they have. I thought they were phenomenal against Russia. You know, you look at some of their finishers, Lemeki, Matsushima on the wing, Shatahore, Tukarev, Michael Leach. You know, he's captained I think the Waratahs before, and he's over here now doing an incredible job for Japan. So they've threats right across the park. They play a very quick game, so we're going to have to deal with that tempo. They probably don't kick as much as many teams. We're expecting very hot weather, so it's going to be tough for us. So we know what we've cut out for us.
One more here.
Chris, what sort of reaction have you had from back home, and have you any family coming over or over?
Yeah, look, yeah, my parents are over at the minute, so they're here for the first 3 games, and my brother and a couple of mates are talking about coming out for the quarter. You know, if we get that far, if we get beyond Samoa, then they're going to look towards coming out then last minute. So, yeah, I had a lot of people getting on to me after the game at the weekend. And what's nice out here is we tend to wake up and it's the middle of the night at home, and our phones are quiet for a few hours, which we're just not used to. It's quite nice to not have to look at your phone until 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, but we've got to make sure it's on silent for the night because there's phone calls coming through in the middle of the night here, which isn't great. But yeah, I've had a lot of messages of support and a lot of messages of best wishes going forward. So.
Okay, folks, thanks very much.